There's a lot of sun out here today. Boy, when I started running, I was walking right into the sun. I had to take my glasses off because I couldn't even see anything when I was hitting my glasses right head on. So this is the Saturday, what is it? Small Business Saturday. Hi. Thank you. Somebody said, I like your outfit. I don't know, I got all hearts, little question marks on the pants, but mostly hearts today. I got some new ones coming. It's just so much fun. They're so cheap. There you are, my friend. Let me know. But I don't know if you see the title that I have there. I think that's very important. But yeah, we all have to live our lives the way we think is best. But to me, it is, people want grants, and I see the titles I use, the headlines with grants on them get the most response. If I say $12,000 grant here or something, that gets more than if I say, oh, financial assistance is available here. And that doesn't work as well. So, and that's what, in the age of the internet, it's all about clickbait. And that's how I was talking to somebody else who's a similar kind of business. And I said her boss always tells her, no, you got to put something, more, even if it's stretching the truth, you got to do that. And I fall into that too, is to get people's attention. I think that's part of the reason why I wear question mark suits and things like that. That got me on TV a lot better, so I could use the media to try to educate people. And that's why I just try to be honest of what I'm doing. And the other thing in honesty is if you buy something for me because I exaggerated or hyperbole or whatever and feel ripped off, I'll always give you money back. You come back. I only got 15 years left, so within the next 15 years, and I'll give you money back. Man, the biggest hurdle is, and if you run a business, you know that it's trying to get people's attention. There's so much media, so much to try to break through is very difficult. And so that's why I use a lot of the titles I do, is just to try to break through. But this about not asking for a grant, I think is very important, because particularly if you haven't done this before, you think that, getting government programs are all grants, and that's true now because of COVID. A lot of it is even called grants. But even if you see, the people who hand out these grants are people. They're just humans. And that's why I also say they want to help people. And that's why a lot of them come to the government. Where else can you go somewhere and give people, have a job of giving people $5,000 to improve their life? Wow. Yeah. Most of us work for somebody who's trying to get $5,000 from somebody. So that, you have to keep in mind that these people are there. They're, most of them, certainly not everybody. DuckDuckGo is better than Google. Yep. Yeah, it is. And so you have to treat them as humans. You're hurting for money. I mean, the people looking for a grant usually, behind the 8 ball or whatever, but trying to get away from that, because you're calling up desperate and commanding a grant because my tax dollars pay your salary, and words to that effect, that you feel the government owes you something. It may work, but I think it'll work less. And it's all about increasing the odds, what works more people. Some people do work for fear, but I think majority of them don't. And so there's a bigger crowd that you could appeal to and get what you need in life by not just yelling at people, give me a grant, you owe me a grant, I know, and mad at them for a grant. No, you're calling these people, they may see, and I think they're more often than not, they see their job as being fortunate enough to be in a position to help other people who are struggling through life. So I think, see, if you call up saying that I need help, can you help me? Is better than, hey, I want a grant. I hear you giving away money. I want a grant. I want a grant. How do I get that money? Where is that grant? You're dismissing that person whose job it is to help you and making it transactional, that this person is just a robot spitting out money like an ATM machine. And none of us want to be felt like we're ATM machines. We want to be felt like human beings. So, Gina family, when you gonna send me a note? And that's important, to realize that all these people that hand out the money, to respect their job, because they are very fortunate. They're a person that could change people's lives by handing out the money, and to respect that position they have. And also, if you say just help, you increase the possibilities of the ways they could help you. Because if you call up for a grant, they may be giving out money, but not in the form of grants. And so if they're just more or less like an ATM machine person working there, what will happen is they'll look under the list of grants or the programs they have. None of it's grants, and they'll say they have nothing for you. So if they have some other kind of money, loans you don't have to pay back, or direct payments, all this other stuff, or you send them they have programs that they don't give you a grant. They just pay your landlord. They send the money to your landlord. You never see the money. You don't get a grant or whatever. And so you'll miss things like that. And that's why you have to go in with a wide net. And the widest possible net is that you need help. And that's what we all have. Like even me, when people talk to me, I know I want a grant to get in business. Well, I'll show them where that is, and they're welcome to follow in. They may or may not get it, of course, like everything else. But I think there's 100 other ways to start a business instead of just getting a grant. I've done it all the time. All my businesses start without money, and they've turned into millions and millions of dollars of businesses. But I always started without money. For many reasons. One is, when you're starting out with something, you don't really know the best way to spend money on your business. So you think you do, but you don't, until you build up a trial and error method. So let's get its grant. Search for We'd love to hear your stories one day. Please cancel my membership. Happy to. Don't forget. Yeah, don't forget, we build all very, periodic. If you joined 3 months, we build in every 3 months. If you joined 6 months, we build in another 6 months. If you joined 1 month, we build every 1 month. So it's best to keep an eye on that, so we don't, if you're not getting any value out of it anymore, to not continue the billing. I don't want to give anybody anything that they're not getting value for. And that's why if you signed up and you feel ripped off that it's nowhere near what you thought, I'm happy to give you money back. Don't worry about that. But starting a business, it is, I think that's the best way to start a business, is without any money. And ask me, if you remember, ask me for a free report called Retire in 3 Years. Now that's another hyperbole. You probably can't retire in 3 years, but there's a possibility. But more importantly, it's starting a business without money. Hey, I love you, you're a great guy, God bless you, really encouraged me. Haven't actually got any grants. Well, that's what I mean. People looking for grants, and you probably don't need it. There's other ways to solve those problems. Like now, yesterday and today, I talked to you about the free consultants that are available that will sit down with your bills and debt and can't pay this, can't pay that, and work through it by even contacting the people you owe money to and getting you relief from that way. There's all these other ways besides getting a big check in the mail that you'll spread out to all the people that owe you the money. So that's why you have to use these other ways to do it, because they're if you may or may not get that big check. So you have to investigate these other ways. What do you do when you can't? That's why, to me, if you even say, I need help, and don't say, I want a grant, then these other ways of making that happen become more probable. If you're only looking for a grant, sure, some people get them. A lot of people sometimes get them, but it's not 100%, and you still have the problem. So you have to prepare yourself for other ways to solving that. While you're looking for money and things like that, a grant, keep a mind open that there may be other ways to solving that. And start plugging away. So if you check all the sources, then you go to phase 2. What are you going to do? And that's with everything. The same way with starting a business. Sure, somebody may need $100,000 or whatever to start a business, but what happens if that doesn't happen? That's why, as you're looking for that money, keep in mind, what other ways, if this doesn't work out, can I do this? Are there other ways? I remember when I was starting my first information business out of my apartment with me, a phone and a desk. There were people who were doing that business that got $1 million of investors. And got big offices on Park Avenue and things like that. Well, lo and behold, after 3 years, they were out of business. And I kept going, 40 years later. Because you don't know how to spend money when you have it. And if you haven't been there before, you don't. You could think of and think you know the best ways, but you don't until you trial and error and do all that stuff. And that's why there's ways to do trial and error without spending money, and then instead of trial and error with spending money. And that's the important thing. So as you're going through looking for grants, always talk to people who don't give out the grants to see what they know about other ways. You have a solid business plan. Yes and no. I don't think there is anything called a solid business plan. A solid business plan to me is if somebody will give you money based on a business plan. That's what a solid business plan is. A solid business plan is getting a customer. That's all you have to know. It depends on, of course, on the kind of business and things like that. But a business plan, there's no such thing as solid business. The smartest people in the world have solid business plans and go belly up. And that's why, to me, the only reason it's solid is somebody invested in it. So these people on Shark Tank, okay? Shark Tank people, okay, you want a solid business plan. You say that's what you need. Shark Tank people look for solid business plans, okay? All they do is look for solid business plan, okay? Shark Tank business people, all these rich people invest in businesses are wrong about their investments 85% of the time. So you're gonna look at how to build a solid business plan, and 85% of the time, it's going to be wrong. Get a CPA. I think it's the same thing. Why? Why do you need a CPA? Are you going to look for other people to invest in? Yeah, they'll want all that stuff. If people are going to give you money, they have to start a solid business plan. My thought is, there's ways to start any kind of business without other people's money and not having a solid business plan, because it's not going to be a solid plan anyway. It's just going to be solid and having someone give you money to fail 85% of the times. So if you want to know how to get money, that 85% of the times you're going to fail with your business plan, then that's a solid business plan. See, I just think there's too many other ways to do it in this country without trying to figure out how people are going to give you money on a solid business plan that 85% of the chance are going to fail. To skip that process and just go out and start getting customers. Finding a way where you don't need money to get customers. And that, what the report is I have, it's called Retire in 3 Years, is all about, and how to do that, how to start a business that way. Okay, so if you're a member, ask me about that. You know, go on the Facebook group and ask me about that. If you're not a member, I'll put in, actually there's a good training video I'll put in on the YouTube video about getting, it's a training about how to use the internet to start a business. All free, it's free, okay? And that's a bad business plan. Think like Jeff Bezos. Well, yeah, Jeff Bezos spent, 10, 20 years getting other people's money to do it. You're right. Okay, now those people that give other people money to start their business plans fail 85% of the time. That's my point. Is sure, Jeff Bezos is a winner and he did it that way. Okay, so if you want to do the Jeff Bezos way, if you figure that out, you're going to lose 85% of the time. That's raw data. That's sort of, we're all talking about data with this COVID stuff. What's the data? What's the science? That's the science behind venture capital. Yeah, people are investing in businesses that you want people to invest in. So I'm saying that there's other ways to do this without money and having a greater chance of success. You want to roll the dice big, be a Jeff Bezos, more power to you. Everybody's looking for that. There's a lot of gamblers out there. Actually, it's so funny. When I went out to Shanghai, it's full, this is about, I guess, 4 or 5 years ago. And it was full of venture capital people. People investing in businesses. And there were people from all over the world going to these meetups, startups and everything, getting people to invest in their businesses. And they spend a lifetime just going from one startup. They have a great idea. They convince these rich people, they have a great business plan, they get business, and in 6 months, a year, they fail. Then they do another one, and they keep doing it. There was so much crazy money like that out there. I don't know what it is here, but the fat cats do have crazy money, and that's a way to just go from one crazy idea to another, and maybe you get lucky that way. I don't know. I'm just maybe too old. To me, business is very simple: finding something people need and give it to them, and getting a customer first. So whatever your idea is, see, that's why even with products, so you could go and do a crowdfunding site and get people to buy a product before you have a product to see if people will buy it. See, and that's so much better because then you know if your product is sellable first. If you put the product on the paper and go out and raise $100,000 to build this product and then go out and sell it, nobody wants to buy it. So you spent a lot of effort trying to get that venture capital money that with that fancy business plan, got the money, and it failed. And I'm saying is that 85% of those fail. If you pre-sell it on something like a crowdfunding site, so you're learning how to get customers first. And that's legit now. And people do it that way. And you don't have to figure out how to get, venture capital money first. You're figuring out how to get customers first without a product. That's what you'll have to do after you build the product, after you sold it to venture capitals, after you build it all that thing, then you go get customers. To me, that sounds like a waste of time and money. But there's a lot of ways to get through life and a lot of ways to do it. Cars, trucks for Christmas. Okay, guys, I'm getting cold out here. It's cold. It's not cold when I'm running or walking or whatever the hell I do. It's cold when I stop. But you want to start a business plan. Actually, if you want to do it that way, you could take a lesson. There's the best people in the world give a free lesson. It takes a bunch of months. You could do it part-time. Ask me about it. I can't think of it offhand, but it's all online. So you could figure the best way to build a business plan and build that whole thing for free. I've written up a few times. If you want to know about it, send me an email. I'll send it back to you at letsgofreeradio@gmail.com. letsgofreeradio@gmail.com. How to the training in writing a business plan, free training. Okay, it's by the best entrepreneurs in that game in the world, and they do it all over. And if you get really good at it, you win like $50,000. But the training is free. So if you want to know how to do that, my son went through it, so it's good stuff. Let me know. Let's Go Free Radio. And if I don't answer you in 2 days, then hit me again. Just say, "Let's go, you old son of a bitch, you're forgetting everything." Get me that free training to write a business plan, okay? Okay, thanks again for putting up with me. Take care.